Thank you, Rami-san, for cooperating with the J-MENA project. We're glad to meet you here. First of all, we would like you to introduce yourself, tell about your experience, and how did you end up in Japan?
My name is RAMI DERBEL. I am from Tunisia. I came here in 2016 as a research student with the aim of doing my Ph.D. Actually, I never really thought about Japan at the beginning as a destination for my abroad studies, but I didn't want to go to France like every Tunisian person, and I really love Japanese culture, so I looked up a little bit on internet, found about mixed scholarship, and applied for that scholarship. In parallel, I also contacted some professors and ended up having a good connection with Professor Mishima at Saga University. So all the process, it took maybe less than a year, and I've been here.
More than 6 years in Japan?
Exactly. I have been first research student, and then I started my PhD. I think research student is an important phase because it helped me to prepare my PhD, because in Japan, PhD is only 3 years. Then when I graduated, I got the opportunity to continue as a postdoctoral researcher for 1 year. While I was postdoctoral, there were an opening of positions of assistant professor at Saga University. I took the opportunity because I really love the environment, and I really love also the position, and I got it. I'm really happy now doing my job here.
Yeah, of course we will talk about your work experience at Saga University later. But first I would like to ask you, how did you hear about the MEC scholarship? Because as you said, in Tunisia, going to Europe to pursue your studies is very popular. But going to Japan until now, I'm sure that the people are still asking you, Rami, why are you still in Japan? Don't you think to come to Europe like closer to family? So how did you make it?
Actually, it's really funny. I got that often comment, why Japan? It's so far, etc. It is far, I have to admit, but Japan offered me a good opportunity. I couldn't find it somewhere else. Good working environment, a full-on scholarship, and most importantly, a new challenge, learning a new language, getting to know a new culture, very nice people around. All that make my life more rich and full of adventure, and that's what I was looking for. If you look for the easy thing, then yeah, I understand to go to Europe. It's just the easy thing. But in those challenges, there is a lot of lessons to learn and a lot of growing up.
Yeah, and it's kind of a unique experience.
Exactly, yes. I don't think I would have ever the same experience in the most, let's say the more usual abroad studies destinations.
As I always say, and I'm sure that everyone says that studying in Japan is not only about getting the degree, it's a whole experience.
Exactly. Like, for example, one of the things I say often to my fellow foreigners who come to Saga University, half of it is about the studies, but the other half is about living the life in Japan itself, meeting people, getting out of the university, having the experience to meet people who are so different from you. It can only make you more open-minded and learn more about them, but also about yourself.
At the beginning, why you choose Saga University and what makes it special?
It's very interesting because at the beginning I didn't really choose Saga University. I was looking through many professors' profile in Japan without regarding to the university itself. And Professor Mishima was doing the research I was interested in, which is about urban heritage preservation. And I contacted him, and then when the things went on, I was like, oh, where is Saga University? I've never heard about it before. But actually, I'm really glad I arrived here because it is on the top 50 national universities in Japan. It has a good quality of education, but still it has this scale, human scale, that make us feel all like a family here and know each other very well. Also, the international community is interesting here. There are maybe 200 students and staff who are foreigners, so we kind of know each other, help each other. Another very important point, it's the work-life balance in Saga. As a city, Saga is small, so the campus is really close to the city, which is really rare in Japan. Usually the campus is really far from the city. So I can enjoy a good work-life balance, having activities in the city, cultural activities, going to museum, but also participating to social life, doing lectures in schools. It's very fascinating and very enriching for me to live in Saga and to work at Saga University.
Please tell us more about now your work experience at Saga University as a researcher. How is your philosophy in working, etc.
So when I started the assistant professor position here, it is mainly like the requirement was mainly about research actually, but it was a first step in academia and as a teacher, and I really love teaching. So I took this opportunity to share my experience more than my knowledge itself. It's more to bring in a new perspective, a new point of view, and give a more international vibe in our laboratory. To be honest, our laboratory has already a very good international atmosphere. We had students from more than 10 countries around the world, from Africa, Asia, so it wasn't that challenging, but it's still always a new adventure to teach Japanese students. Now I have also Chinese students, and interact with them on daily basis and see the communication, how it works. It's really fulfilling. Research-wise, I really like doing research here. We have, to be honest, I appreciate that I have all the what I need from a material thing, but also connections, and I want to continue doing the research here, and also share this knowledge with Tunisian universities. Like next year we are organizing an online symposium, and then after we will do a workshop in Tunisia and bring some Japanese students.
That's very interesting. So as you mentioned before, you would love to share your experience with the new students, researchers. So how would you induce them to be excited to do research, to continue their studies, and enjoy, as you mentioned, their social life to keep the balance?
To be honest, I don't try so hard to make them excited about something. I would rather actually know them better, understand them, and know what is exciting for them. What is the driving factor that make them want to do master degree here in our laboratory, and take that point and push it the maximum. If a student want to do a project instead of research, I will just encourage him to do a project instead, because I believe that the first drive to have to do research is to really want it, because it's not an easy thing.
Yeah, as we all know, like research should be fun and interesting.
Exactly. If the student is not interested on his research and is not doesn't find it fun, there's no point to push him there. I would rather take the potential they have and use that potential to have more and more outcome from it. So that's my philosophy. My philosophy is to keep always good communication, listen also to the students a lot, and maybe it's kind of new now, but also be aware of their feelings, because I have been a student not long time ago, and I feel sometimes stressed about things that I shouldn't be stressed of. So I try to notice those moments on the students. Sometimes they get too much pressure on themselves, and I try to tell them, I'm not here to judge you, I'm here to support you. So do your best. And often it works actually.
I would like to ask you more about the communication. Like, is it English-based communication? What about the Japanese environment? Are international students pushed to learn more Japanese? How is this?
So as a student, I did all my study in English. I never needed to use Japanese during my studies. But to be honest, since the day one I arrived here, I studied Japanese very hard because I came here not only for studies. I came here to have a new experience and live the life here, and to be able to go out of the university and meet people and talk with them. You need to learn the language, and I don't think it's special to Japan. Wherever you go in the world, if you want to get inside the culture, the first step to do is to learn the language. So yes, you can come to Japan without having any Japanese skills. You can also not learn Japanese, but you will miss a lot on a personal level and experience level if you don't study Japanese. So I recommend it to learn Japanese as much as possible when you are here, but it's not an obstacle to study. So enjoy it. As a professor though, came, for example, very useful because after 6 years, I found myself able to communicate with the students, and it helped me to get this position here. So again, if you also want to work in Japan in the future, Japanese language is very important, I think.
And now, after, let's say, minimum 6 years in Japan, what kind of things you learned? What kind of things maybe they changed your point of view regarding Japan?
Oh, yeah, maybe one point changed very much is when I arrived to Japan, I've seen my Japanese lab mates going to the restaurant and eat white rice without any salt or condiment. I was shocked. And I was like, why do they eat this kind of rice? Now, actually, I enjoy it. I enjoy it, and I can taste the good taste of Japanese rice. And I surprised myself doing that. Same for tea. Tunisian tea is full of sugar. And yes. I was like, yes. I couldn't drink Japanese tea without sugar. Now, when I go back home, I cannot drink tea at home because it's too sweet. So you see, we adapt. Yeah. I gave the example of food, but it's same even with relationships with people. Many people shock me sometimes with their behavior. I'm like, why did he do that? That's shocking. But then, with time, you learn to understand that we are all different and we have our reasons. And most of people, they don't do anything to harm you or to be bad with you. It's just because they come from a different background. So we all evolve and learn. And I think maybe it's one of the best lessons I got from studying abroad.
And do not judge. That's the most...
Exactly. You remove that judgment state of mind, because you never know where the people come from. What are their reasons to do such or such? So you just don't judge. And you enjoy also being around people like you who learn to not judge. It's really comfortable environment.
It's good. And in terms of research, what kind of things that you learned when you joined the Japanese universities, they added value to your...
Oh, this is a really good question actually, because when I've done my master degree in Tunisia, in architecture, we have a more emotional, socio-psychological approach to architecture and artistic as well, which is really nice, I think. In Japan, they have more pragmatic, technical, engineering point of view, architecture, research approach. So it is very different. The research for me, it was really different at the beginning. I learned though, thanks to that, to have a more Cartesian point of view, to be able to publish papers in good journals, thanks to this way of thinking. I think though that both educational backgrounds are complementary. Between Tunisian education and Japanese education, I got, I think, the most of two, and I'm really happy with that.
You got the good package.
Yeah, I'm really happy with that.
We're happy also to hear that. and we encourage everyone who's aiming to go abroad, go out of your comfort zone and join the
Yes,
Japanese university.
and especially like because you will be double rich compared to other people, because you have already your good background. You will add another layer on it from things you never imagine it before.
We would like to ask you about the things we have to consider before applying for the scholarship. For example, the research proposal. What kind of very important points we have to think about?
A very interesting question. The research proposal is the way your professor will understand about you and understand what you want to do, and this is also you will be evaluate when you will apply for MEC scholarship. So it is very important to write it properly. To write it properly, my recommendation is to listen to a maximum of presentations about research. Now there are so many symposium online for free. Go find the one that interests you and listen to researchers, how they do their presentation, how they structure their idea, so you can do a good research. Another advice also is to contact professors in Japan that have same interest as you, and before contacting them, study them very well and see what they are doing in their lab. Don't annoy them if you have no clue, because it will build you a bad reputation. Maybe you'll contact a friend of him in the future and he will not recommend you. He will say, this student is not good. He contacted me, he harassed me without any reason. So be careful about that. Another last thing, don't let financial situation hold you back, because even if you don't get scholarship, you can come to Japan and get it here. You can also find other financement or help by tuition fee waiving from the universities, for example. It happens often here, and I've seen many students. I was actually surprised to see them. They were able to finish their master's degree and PhD without having a full scholarship at the beginning. So the most important thing is the motivation. If you have the motivation, the financial situation will come within it quickly.
Yes, as long as you want to make it, you will make it.
Exactly. My message for international students from Tunisia and from MENA region who want to come to Japan: don't hesitate, don't be scared from obstacles. It is not as difficult as it seems to be. There are many opportunities, many scholarships, and the universities provide very good environment. It provide opportunities and it helps students. I know many people who come without even a scholarship and then can manage it to make everything good. So don't hesitate, don't be scared, take all the opportunities you can get. Welcome to Japan.
So actually, my major is architecture and urban planning. So especially in the field of the regenerative architecture, such as heritage. And so far, I welcome also the international students who want to join the short program, which is a summer course, something like that. So at the small traditional town where I worked since 20 years, more than 20 years. So then it attracts students, international students who would like to know the Japanese culture and also architecture. And then we have a kind of workshop there. So 5 nights and 6 days, something like that. So in the time they saw traditional architecture in Japan, and also they dialogue with Japanese people and also students and pupils at the elementary school as well. So such a kind of experience very good for them. Some of them told me that they would like to study at Saga University. So then I welcomed them, and then I did many studies as well. So some of them made also the international journal papers and so on. Anyway, we could get also the research achievements as well. It is very quite nice.
Yeah, it is. That's a great sensei. Also, we would like to know more about the experience of international students coming from the MENA region, Middle East, North African countries. What kind of messages you would like to share with them in order to make their application easier so they can get successfully enrolled at Saga University?
So actually, I had ever had some African students and also from the West Asia. So, but not so many. At Saga University, not so major foreign students. So, but actually, they also the gap between the gap of the culture very big between Japan and Africa. So, but it also attracts them. So I would like to welcome also the African people as well. So now Japanese government also willing to enhance the collaboration with the African countries. So therefore, I would like to request them not to hesitate to contact the teachers and as well as an international the Center of Promotion for International Exchange. So we had an office where the staff can speak English. So so that the first contact should be a contact with the teacher or the staff of the office, and then we can promote.